going back to the Hall of Fame induction, which again, just such a great honor, the Curt Gowdy Award. And I should have gone back to rewatch it right before our interview, because I watched the speech, that night. It was a couple months back, obviously, but there were two areas in particular where you said, I wish I had more time. I could tell you a story. If I remember right, one of them had to do with maybe how your daughter and son-in-law met, I think was one of them. And then there was another one that related obviously to broadcasting. Maybe it was Tommy. I don't recall. What I don't know, what speeches or part of your speech did you run out of time for that maybe you could share with us a little bit?
I was just ready to get going. That was the beginning. I could have gone another 20 minutes easy up there. This is true now. I mean, this sounds like something out of a Chip Hilton book, but this is really true. I went to see, I stopped the speech getting in to see Gil Santos, which is what I did. I get in, I sat down, I talked to Gil for about maybe 15 minutes at most. And he just sat there smiling and listening to what I wanted to do, what I thought I could do. And he would pick up the phone and he called and he tells this guy on the phone, he goes, yeah, I got this guy sitting in front of me. Yeah, you'd love him, Paul. Armed Forces Radio and TV, ton of experience, really good. It fit perfectly with you. Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, I'll send him down. Bye. Hangs up the phone. He says, scribbles down an address in New Bedford, Massachusetts. Puts the name Paul Levesque. He said, go see Paul Levesque at this station. He'll talk to you about potentially giving you a job. I said, when? He said, now. He's waiting for you. I go out here in my car. I drive down there. I go out to lunch with this guy. We have about 2 or 3 beers over lunch. He's about my age, so we're peers. And he said, do you play softball? And I said, yeah. He said, you any good? I said, oh, yeah, I'm real good. And I was in that day. And so he said, we're playing against the other station in town tonight, big charity game. About 1,500 people show up. We've been getting our ass kicked every year. We always lose. So will you play for us tonight? I said, sure. So I played. We won like 15-12. I had 8 RBIs. I had 2 home runs. I mean, I was way above these guys. I played for a ringer. Well, I was the ringer, the original ringer, yeah. Because I had played for a Navy team that used to tour the South playing fast-paced softball. I was the third baseman on that team. So I was used to really good competition, not some lady lobbing it up because she's the secretary. Anyway, we're standing this is true story now. We're standing at home plate, and I see this guy coming towards us. I'm talking to Paul, and this guy from about 10 feet away goes, Paul, I thought we said no ringers. I thought everybody had to really work for the station who played. What about this guy? Who's this guy? And he goes, oh, this is, you don't know, hey, he's a public affairs director. He's been with us for about a month now. My job. So I'm in. I get the job as public affairs director, which Paul just made up in the moment. He didn't even know what a public affairs director was. But I get in and I got to do everything, which was key. It was better than going to grad school. I was my own engineer, doing radios, doing remotes. Paul said to me, you sell it and we'll put it on the air. I would do New Bedford High School basketball. I would do football games, boxing from Worcester Auditorium. I did the finals of the New Bedford Country Club golf championship. We did all these different things I had to do myself. I sold it. I wrote the copy. I did everything. One of my favorite stories about that is, as you know, in boxing, there's 60 seconds between each round. Mm-hmm. So the first boxing match I'm going to do out of Worcester is that Paul gives me this notebook, and it's all filled with copies that I'm supposed to read. It says 30-second copy. It goes at the end of the first round. There's 3 pages of 30-second copy. I said, Paul, I think there's a mistake here. We got 3 30s where only 2 are supposed to go. And he goes, just read fast. I'm like, oh, okay. So we're now I know we're out in the street selling 30-second spots when really you're only get 15 for your money, but who's counting, right? So that was just a wonderful experience for me and Mark Haynes. I could go on forever. I don't want to do that with you. But literally a guy, Mark Haynes, driving through from spending a weekend on the Cape, who was the news director of WPRO Radio in Providence, is listening around the dial because he's bored as he's driving home. He catches me on a Sunday night doing a talk show where nobody calls, but so I'm just kind of like filling by myself. Calls me the next morning. He says, that was pretty good. I listened to that last night driving through. Why don't you come on over here? And I want to talk to you. So I drive to Providence. I talk to him. He sits and looks at me. He said, I want you to be our New England correspondent. And I said, awesome. That's great. I said, I'll just go give my notice at channel right where it was. He goes, no. You don't give your notice. What I want you to do is rip the wire every morning. If there's a fire in Worcester, you read the copy. And at the end, you say, in Worcester, I'm Mike Gorman for WPRO News. And if there's a murder in Portland, Maine, I want you to read the copy and then say, in Portland, I'm Mike Gorman for WPRO News. And he said, and so after I said about the 3rd time, I said, but I won't be any of those places, Mark. And Mark, this is the silence. He just stared at me. He said, we're going to go through this one more time, okay? He does. And at the end, he says, if you do that, I guarantee you the program director here will be so enamored by how you hustle around to get news stories, he'll offer you a job. I said, how long do I have to do this for? He said, you get the job within 6 weeks. I got it in 2.
No kidding.
Like every morning he would put me on. Oh, Mike is up in Portland, Maine right now. Mike, what's going on? Mike, and I'm in the next room. It was very funny.
At what point, I don't remember if you've talked about this. I'm sure you have somewhere along the way, but I don't know that I know it. At what point was there ever a point, obviously, whether it was growing up as just a fantasy or obviously once you really joined the industry and you were a professional broadcaster where it was, I want to be the voice of the Celtics. I want to call NBA games, or is that just something that sort of came to be along the way?
Yeah, I didn't want to be necessarily call NBA games, but what I wanted to do was I wanted to do local basketball. I like being from the Northeast. I like it when somebody tells me I have an accent because I do. I'm proud of it. So I wanted to do Providence College basketball or Boston College basketball in the Big East. I wanted to do the Celtics. I didn't want to do the Nets. I didn't want to do the Knicks. I didn't want to do the Wizards. And they didn't want me probably either. But I wanted to stay locally. And what I was able to do, and then I got to go because I got somebody waving at me here. But Tommy Heinsohn and I got together to do Providence College games, not to do Celtic games. And through that, we became friends. And then when Prism came to town and opened up, they were going to do all the Celtic home games. And they hired Tom Heinsohn. They immediately went to Tommy and they said, who do you want to work with? He said, Mike Gorman. He's down in Providence. You love him, good guy. And they didn't care. I could have been anything, but they wanted Tommy so much. So if it makes you happy, Tommy, fine. So that's how I got the job. And the rest is, as far as the Celtics goes, that was 41 years ago. And now I get Scalabrini sitting next to me.